Good afternoon. Welcome to the July webinar for DocuWare. Using QuickBooks, make it work even better with completely integrated document management. My name is Robin Horner, and I'll host this DocuWare session today. In the GoToWebinar control panel is a case study you can download on a company called Value Place Hotel, a large hotel chain. And in the case study, you can learn about how they've integrated DocuWare with their accounting system. Today's agenda is going to include the persistent problem of paper, digital workflow for humans, becoming an agile leader, and how DocuWare can help. And then we'll get into a live product presentation on QuickBooks, utilizing it with DocuWare. And then we're going to do a wrap-up and open question and answer session. So before we get started, let's take a quick poll to find out how you feel about your current QuickBook usage. So I'll give you a minute to answer those questions. Okay, let me share the results of this poll. I can see from the results that the majority of you are interested in more advanced integration, which we'll show you today. Then followed by don't use it, use a different program. The technology we're using today with the QuickBooks can be implemented with other accounting programs, and it does a fine job, could do more, but that's what we're going to show you is how you can get more out of your QuickBooks. And then there's some people here that really love it and rely on it heavily. But for those, hopefully we can give you some ideas on how you can improve your experiences using QuickBooks with the document management system. So paper's everywhere. There's files and information all over the network and local PCs in different applications and different formats. It's annoying, it's a risk, it's messy and unorganized. It's time-consuming to file and retrieve. Digital documents don't solve the paper problem either. They're just containers, packages for information. And this gets to the heart of the problem. The real pain of modern business is not documents. The real pain is manual processes. AP, AR, and other teams are locked into cumbersome manual paper-based processes. Despite the migration to digitized documents, it's not enough to dump them into a shared drive. That lack of process just perpetuates the shuffling of documents from one media to the other. We've spent years and untold amounts of money digitizing information. How do we take advantage of that? How do we get past the manual, labor-intensive shuffle? How do we drive intelligence and real efficiency in our business? The answer is simple: digital workflow and automation. Digital document management is the key software that unlocks the full potential of accounting. Tedious processes become effortless workflows. Time lost becomes time invested, and old costs become new capital. But how do we get there? And what are the benefits achieved along the journey? Let's take a step back and examine the journey to become a digital business. We'll examine each phase and highlight the significant business benefits that come with each step forward. Let's take a look at the journey of a digital automation from manual laggard to an agile leader. The manual laggards are still using paper, but as they become more progressive, they realize the hard cost savings of digitized documents. They then see the advantage of managing documents with intelligent indexing and searching, which improves productivity and customer service, and that being paperless is a viable model. With configurable workflow, time efficiency, insights to improve, an agile leader experiences process automation and touchless workflow and will achieve an optimal knowledge working ratio between bottom line dollars are reinvested in top line growth and happier staff. When you start as a manual laggard, you move through digital progressive to become an agile leader. This is the goal of a modern business. Heck, even inside DocuWare, we're getting better at this all the time. So what's the secret? Well, I can tell you in our experience, it's definitely not a stack of complex technology. It's not a 3-year roadmap, and it's not a large new budget. Becoming a digital-first Agile leader means simply putting the users first. Digital workflow and automation are near useless when the tools are complex and slow processes down. We found that the smartest digital processes meet full potential when they embrace 6 key qualities. Fast for maximum time savings, effortless to minimize distractions, secure so people don't worry about leaks, reliable so it can be trusted in times of high pressure, repeatable for consistent value, and flexible so it can be further optimized. Combine that with always-on cloud access and full mobile complement, and you can move forward on your journey to becoming an Agile leader. In a recent report, the Ardent Group quantified the success of Bestinclass AP teams that use technology at higher rate compared to their peers who don't. The productivity results are dramatic. These figures suggest most accounting departments will still have significant opportunities to save money and realize productivity gains. So don't take my word for it. Here's what happened after Comfort Systems, a national heating and cooling company, implemented workflow automation. Since implementing our accounts payable workflow, our accounting team has decreased the average time to process a batch of invoices from a little over a day to less than an hour. This is from Julie Priest, Controller, Comfort Systems USA National Accounts. So how does DocuWare help you become an Agile leader? Seamless integration with QuickBooks or other accounting software, configurable workflows to drive results, mobile access for remote staff, supports business processes without complexity, easy to use, allowing greater productivity and accuracy. Today, we're going to show you just a glimpse of the many uses for DocuWare. With a QuickBooks and DocuWare workflow integration, you'll be empowered to intelligently capture and store documents for automated record creation and workflows, instantly access any document from any device to keep work moving, shed physical and mental clutter to focus on value-driven work. Now I'll show you a live product demo of a DocuWare and QuickBooks integration. So now as we go into the live product presentation, what you're seeing on your screen right now is the DocuWare interface. I'm going to give you a little bit of a roadmap of the DocuWare interface so you have an understanding of what I'm doing as I go through the product presentation. Over here on the left are document trays. A document tray is the same thing as the plastic tray on your desk. You bring files in so you can copy them from your computer and drag them into your tray for manual processing. And of course, DocuWare has numerous ways of automating the process. Let me just put these in a different tray here. So we have numerous ways of automating the process, but if you have documents that you have to process manually, DocuWare still makes it very easy to do. When you open a document, it'll open up in the window, the viewer window on the right-hand side. Down the center, we have a toolbar, which gives you the ability to work with your document. You can browse through the different pages, print, fax, email. You can change the display, put stamps on it, which I'll show you as we go through this process, and do basic annotations such as typing text on the document, doing redactions if you want to block something out. Now, any of these annotations that you put on a document, you can send the document by email or print it with those annotations or without those annotations. So if you want to send in a document to somebody and you want certain information blocked out, you can simply put an annotation on, and then when you're done, you can simply highlight the annotation and remove it. Now, let's say, for example, all of these documents belong to a single transaction and you want to store them as one master document. Well, you can select them in the order in which you want, and then you can clip them together. So now we have one document in our tray that will ultimately store in our filing cabinet. So this is our store button for our filing cabinet. Up here, we'll do a search later. So let's go ahead and store this in our filing cabinet. Now, as I said, DocuWare has numerous ways of automating the index, but if you have to do it manually, we make it very easy. You simply highlight the information on the document, and DocuWare will then place that information into the designated index field. Now, these are the index fields for this particular file cabinet. DocuWare gives you the ability to have as many index fields as you want and to name them anything you want. They can be text, date, numeric fields. So you can be very specific about how you categorize your documents. So let's go ahead and finish this. This is our order number. Our date is right here, our order date. And then we don't have any terms on this document, and our amount is on page 2. So let's go to page 2 and pick up the amount for this invoice. And we're going to go ahead and store that document in our filing cabinet. Now, to retrieve that document, anybody that has the security rights to do so can simply go to search and start typing the name of the company that they're looking for. If they do not know the name, they can simply click on the drop down and get a list of all the files in the filing cabinet. So we're going to go ahead and click on search, and there's our document. Now when we open it up in our viewer, we just double click on it, and there is the document in our viewer. We can then go through the different files that we attached, and then also within each file we can go through the different pages. So this one happens to be a PDF. This is a Word document, an Excel file, a text file, and finally a JPEG. So it doesn't matter what type of file you store in DocuWare. DocuWare can view over 250 different types of files, and if you can't, we use the Windows File Association to view the file. So let's go ahead and start our workflow process using QuickBooks. We're going to go ahead and scan some invoices. We have some invoices that have come in paper, and we also have one that has come in via email, and we'll show you that in just a minute. Let's finish scanning these paper documents, paper invoices. What is happening now is the documents are being brought into the document tray, and within a few seconds here, they will appear in our tray. You can see we're getting notification that the first one is coming in. So if we go ahead and refresh our tray, you'll see we've got 2 documents in there so far, and let's just do it one more time, and there's our 3rd document. Now what you're seeing with that gray bar moving up and down in the upper left corner of the document is a unique process to DocuWare called intelligent indexing. Intelligent indexing is trained to pick up the index information from the document based upon the way you tell it where the information is. So after a few seconds, these bars will either turn red, yellow, or green. The colors represent the confidence level and which DocuWare has in the information that is picked up. If it's red, it's generally the first time it's seen the document, and it requires some training. If it's yellow, it's maybe 75% sure, but still needs some additional training. And then green is 100% accurate. It has learned all the information on the document, and you can go ahead and store that. Now, before I store that, I want to bring in my invoice that came in by email. DocuWare is tightly integrated with Microsoft Outlook. You can see here we have a DocuWare tab in Outlook, which gives us the ability to do specific things. We're going to store this. We can just simply right mouse click, select Store in DocuWare, select the configuration we want. We're going to select Invoice to Tray. What that's going to do is it'll leave a copy of the email with the attachment in Outlook, but it will also put the attachment in DocuWare. So let's go ahead and refresh this. And there's our invoice that just came in via email. It's in there. It's being read by the intelligent indexing process. And within a few seconds, that will either turn red, yellow, or green, depending on whether it's seen that vendor's invoice before or not. So it's turned green, so it's seen it before. So let's go ahead and select these and store them in our filing cabinet so we can start our approval process and get them into QuickBooks. Now, to do that, we simply go to Store and select our accounting invoice store dialog. So here we have all of the indexed information. You can see that we've highlighted the indexed information on the document as to where we're picking it up from. So we're going to go ahead and store that. Here's another one from Milwaukee Electric Tool Corporation. We'll go ahead and store that one. And Prime Source and Performa Spectrum Graphics. Now, all four of those documents have been stored in DocuWare, and they are now being routed to our individual department managers for approval. So the first one that has to approve these documents is our AP supervisor. So he goes through and he sees the document, he looks at it, he takes his stamp and places it on the document. That will flag that as to go on to the next step. The next document comes up, he stamps it, and he just keeps going through with all 5 of these documents. And then once he's done, we'll go over to another user, which is our AP director, who has the same 5 documents as a second level approval. Now, if at any time he wants to see the supporting documentation, for example, on this one here, he wants to see the supporting documentation for ProFax. He just clicks on a button down here, 3-way match, and there are all of the documents for ProFax. He can very easily look at the purchase order, the packing slip, whatever he needs to see to make a educated decision on these documents. So let's go back to our process here. We're going to select our stamp, which is going to dedicate these to go into QuickBooks. So he's going to say these are okay to go into QuickBooks. Let's go ahead and stamp all 5 of these. Let's go back up to our first one up here. Stamp that one. And now all these documents have been approved by multiple levels of people, and they are ready to be brought into QuickBooks. Now to do that, we're going to bring up QuickBooks. And here is the QuickBooks interface. You can see there are no documents in here. We have to run a couple of processes now. I'm going to run these manually, but they can be set up to run on a schedule automatically. So the first one I'm going to run is going to do an export of the data from DocuWare. So it's exporting the data out of DocuWare. And the next one I'm going to run is going to read that data that was exported and bring it into QuickBooks and create our records in QuickBooks. Now this is going to take a few seconds, so it'll start to come in. Now we can also do GL coding, and if you have multiple organizations within your QuickBooks, we can accommodate that as well. So it really doesn't matter how you use QuickBooks. If you have invoices for a specific organization that you come in, you can bring them in as well. And we have duplicates here, so I made a mistake there. But anyway, here's the documents. We have ProFax. If we want to open that up, this is a record that was created in QuickBooks. And we also have some buttons over here that are related to DocuWare. Now, you can see we brought in all of the information that was entered in DocuWare. Now, if we want to see that supporting documentation, we can click on this document right here, or this button, and it will execute a search and bring up that supporting documentation from DocuWare. And there is the ProFax invoice. You can see it has all the approvals on it. Now, also, if we wanted to see all the supporting documentation while working in QuickBooks, we can click on our 3-way match button, and it will bring up a list of all the related documents to that particular invoice. And again, here is the PO and the packing list. If we want to look at the PO that was originally entered, we can simply double-click on it and open it up, and there's the PO. And if we want to see the packing list to make sure that everything was received, there is the packing list. So everything is accessible. You did not have to do any manual data entry to get this data into QuickBooks. And if you need to do any verification of the information, it's simply a matter of clicking on a button that has been placed into QuickBooks, and then there is the documentation. And I can do that with any one of these records. I want to see, let's say, for example, I want to see the one from Flying Tom, Germany. I'll just click on Invoices, and there's my invoice for Flying Tom. So very easily, you can have all that information available at just a click of the mouse. So now what I'd like to do is quickly take another poll to find out what excites you most about the DocuWare and QuickBooks integration. So I'll give you a minute to select your choices there, and then we'll continue on with the PowerPoint. Okay, thank you very much for taking the time for that poll. I can see by the results that the majority of you are interested in eliminating the boring data entry, and as you could see from the presentation, that there was no data entry on either DocuWare or in QuickBooks. DocuWare handles it all automatically, and then the automated processes can output that to QuickBooks. Remote document access, DocuWare definitely does have that available. With our mobile client, you can have remote access to your documents through a mobile device, as well as from your web browser from any computer that you want to use. Also, you want to see more how it integrates with different software. That's something that our sales rep or the partner that referred you to this webinar can definitely demonstrate to you. And then you're very interested in how it delivers new productivity features, and that's the whole point of this, is to show you how DocuWare can help your productivity when using QuickBooks or other accounting programs where we can actually eliminate the data entry. So let's recap what we've covered today. DocuWare will improve business processes by making them transparent to your users, increase employee efficiency, and easily integration with your third-party software, with the benefits of removing paper, removing paper, securing your information with faster accessibility to authorized employees, digitizing key workflows to eliminate bottlenecks in business processes, and extending the features of QuickBooks without costly IT changes. A little bit about DocuWare and what we do. We have found that even within one company or organization, the field of application is very broad. It often starts out in the accounts department, as we've demonstrated today, or in sales or in human resources. But it also has many uses in the more technical areas of a business. So don't think of this as just an accounting document management system. Once DocuWare has been introduced into one department, it soon spreads to other departments until the whole company is using it. And this is just an overview of how some of the other companies that are using DocuWare are using our product. You can see we're using it in accounting, sales, HR, controlling, legal, logistics, research and development, and purchasing. And that's just a few of the departments that DocuWare has been used in. And here are some of the other companies that are using DocuWare, and as you can see, they are all different industries and different sizes. So whether you are a small business or a huge international corporation, DocuWare can be used by any size company. And we're very proud of the over 16,000 companies using our product to help them be an Agile leader. DocuWare is available in 16 different languages and is extremely friendly for any of the companies in the more than 70 different countries where it is being used currently today. Okay, I want to thank you, and again, don't forget, if you have any questions, additional questions, please email contact.us@docuware.com or your authorized DocuWare partner. They will be able to help you and get you information on how we integrate with other software as well. Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon.